Welcome and hello to the Growing Pair. This is our second episode, and my name is Isaac, and with me here is
James.
Hello, James. How have you been?
Good, thanks. Looking forward to this episode.
In our first episode, we've done introduction. We told you who are we and what we are doing. But James, tell us more. What is the Growing Pair for you, and what would you like to achieve from this podcast?
The Growing Pair is two aspiring life coaches that are looking to spread what life coaching is to people, the benefits of it, and have some fun and interesting conversations along the way.
So James and I got to know each other from the coaching academy, which we are both students, and we are on our path to our qualification, our life coach qualification. But also we got to know each other outside of the TCA, and then we are forming friendship, and we are sharing with you this friendship here in the Growing Pair. We are growing as people. So today, James is gonna come up with a surprise topic. He didn't tell me what he's going to bring, and I'm kind of waiting here, sitting here, waiting like a bit anxiously. No, I'm kidding. What is the topic James is
Yeah,
bringing? So James, come on, hit me.
yeah, no, I like this because then it's raw, right? We get to share our live opinions and views on a new topic. So for Isaac, today I've brought to you the topic of the impact of external and internal accountability for people. So I'm really interested to know, how you hold yourself accountable, how people would, what methods you can use, and then, discuss whether, what's the perfect mix of both really. So that's my topic for today.
So let me just rephrase what you're saying. You're actually bringing a topic here that is kind of close to my heart, and you're talking about motivation in a way, external or extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Do I understand you correctly?
Yeah, so I did purposely bring this topic because I know motivation is part of this in terms of the internal accountability. But the other part, the external as well, is more around how do you use other people, let's say coaches, mentors as well, to help you externally keep that accountability as well.
I see what you mean. So basically, there is the intrinsic feeling or internal feeling thing. Let's imagine you want to do something, and there is this drive inside you that you want to achieve it. So from the moment you desire to do it to the action, how do you keep it going? And this is something I'm talking about in the motivation workshop that I'm running. And this is the motivation life cycle, where you have a desire to do something, you have actions, and then based on the feedback, you have the reinforcement of keep it going. And I feel that the feedback part of this cycle is really, really important, because when we are doing something and, when we have a desire to do something and we are doing something and for some reason we are failing, let's imagine you're going for a job interview and you applied for a job and you went to an interview and you didn't get the job. The first feeling that you can have is, oh, I did so badly in the interview and that's why they didn't want me, right? Can
Mhm.
happen. Then you can start to look at it, oh, I should never applied for this job. I should never gone to this interview, blah, blah, blah. But then if you are feeding yourself with that feeling of failure, you can't reinforce to look at the next job or
Mhm.
the next application. Now, this is all internal, whatever going on inside you. But imagine you had a support with the process. So imagine what you are looking to do now is finding a job, and you are looking to do it, but you are helping or you are asking for help. So that help can be a mentorship or a life coach
Mhm.
or any other type of help that you might take, and that is the external. But is that something that's what you meant, James? I'm kind of sitting here and mumbling, and I'm not sure if that's the idea of what you meant.
Let me give you another example. Let's say you wanted to learn the guitar, right?
Okay.
Um, So, you really set on it. You've always wanted to do it. So you know, watch some YouTube videos, buy a guitar, you start practicing yourself. You do that maybe, a couple of weeks or whatever, but eventually what might happen is your motivation to do it starts to wear down over time, right? It's quite difficult in, today's society to just keep yourself 100% motivated each week. With that, what you might do is, you realize that and you're like, okay, well, I need to get a guitar teacher because then I can book a session in with them every week. They're going to help me learn the guitar. And you're holding yourself accountable to that by using an external influence. So my my interest in this topic is around, the balance of how both fit in. And I had a curious question while thinking about this is, can you ever do something purely based on your own internal accountability? Have you ever done anything where you haven't used any external support to help you keep yourself accountable to achieve what you wanted to do? That's my question to you.
Well, yes, because I have few examples in my life where I have to keep myself in place in order to make things happen. And I can give you an example of my YouTube channel with my partner, because I am the driving force in this YouTube channel. Both my partner and I are part of this video, but I'm the driving force in terms of recording, editing, uploading, community-wise, doing all the admin work around the video itself. And James, it's a lot of work. I calculated it once. For average video, it takes me something between 2 to 3 hours, including editing, metadata, subtitles, everything I'm doing to a video. And if I didn't have the drive force to do it or the internal to do it, I wouldn't do it. However, speaking out loud about it, I'm doing it because there is the external factor here that people are waiting for our videos.
Yeah.
People are waiting to see us. So that gives me that, drive and that motivation to do it. So it doesn't have to be a tutor per se, but there is the external factor. And if we didn't have the views, the people that are waiting for us, I don't know if I had the drive to carry on doing it.
Yeah, that's a good example, I think. And then my other question to that is there always then some sort of external factor as well, like in anything that we do that isn't so obvious, aka like, yeah, you said your viewers and stuff, it's kind of not as, it's a bit more intangible, but it's still there in your mind as to, yeah, I need to get cracking, do this because of that. So I think, there's always something there. Maybe you want to also, because it is a joint venture with your partner as well, maybe there's kind of been an impact as well for you doing it because it's something nice for you to do together as well, which isn't what you're thinking exactly while you're doing everything, but it's still there in your mind. So yeah, I was kind of curious as to how that, plays into all the things we do. And that's why I asked the question, is there anything absolutely, completely free of any external factors?
It's a very, very good topic that you bring here because it's much deeper. As I speak about it more and more with you today in this chapter, I'm thinking it's a much deeper topic than I first heard it, because I'm thinking about the studies of the life coaching. When I've decided to sign up and study life coaching, the motivation was very high. I said, I am so gonna do it. I'm gonna be in every lesson and I'm gonna try to do as much as possible and I will talk to as many life coaches as possible. The drive there was
Yeah.
completely internal. And as time goes by, all I'm care now is I just want to finish and get my certification. Yes, of course, I want to learn and all of that. But where I am at the moment is I just want to get my certification. That's the drive. And that is a completely external thing if you think about it.
The other thing is, let's say we're in our life coaching course and you see people getting accredited and they're now starting their business, they're seeing other people get to where you want as well could also be an influence on you to keep going or wanting to do it quicker, or like so it's still potentially having an effect. So yeah, I was thinking as well, like let's say you set yourself a goal to do something, you might think, yeah, I'm resolute, I'm doing this myself, motivation, but it might be that subconsciously you're thinking of a mate that has done something similar, and that's kind of driving you to do it because you want to get to where they want. So I do think other people being where you want, or progressing in a way you want to, also impacts your accountability and your motivation from an external point of view as well.
Look at this podcast, for example. This podcast, the Growing Pair podcast, was created firstly with Sham, that I met her randomly. And the moment I met her, day after, I was like, oh, I would like to do a podcast with that lady. That's how it was born, seriously. And my motivation there was completely internal, like I want to do it. And it took me few days to convince Charm to come with me to that journey. But we recorded 3 episodes and that's it. She moved to away and it faded away. That happened in October and we are in March. We're recording this second episode, 5th of March. It's not like the idea of the podcast died. It was there in my back of the mind, but I couldn't find the right person until I met you. And when I met you and I said, oh, would James like to do that with me? Would James be, but it all came from internal, but you are the external factor to this idea. For me, at that point, you were the external factor.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to hear your side of the internal external here and what's going on in your mind and in your head.
It made me think, do you actually need someone else to help you hold yourself accountable? Because in theory, you could have done the podcast yourself, maybe. Once she left, if that was like key priority. Yeah, I'm intrigued as whether you need someone to hold yourself accountable, that you can say, okay, yes, I'm doing this with someone else. We're going to be talking every week, whatever. I do believe with this, I needed your help to hold me accountable to do a podcast, because I told you before as well, I had the idea to do it in the future, but never did anything about it. So when you brought this opportunity to me, I was like, great, that's the accountability I need, right? I would say you're my accountability partner externally within this, and my internal accountability for myself, my motivation to do it on my own wasn't enough to, let's say, me do it, because you can always do something on your own, right? If you really, really wanted to, I think.
And it's a great topic to discuss, and I guess we will come back to it. And if we link it to the life coaching aspect, one of the things that good life coaches should do with you is, be accountable for your actions. We're having sessions with our clients, and the clients are the one that bring the goals. The clients are the one that bringing the action items. We are there to facilitate that. We are there to make sure that they are committing to it, and we are there to check in with our clients in the following meetings. That's very good reason why to have a life coach as an external help. And this is something that family can't do for you. They can, they won't come to it objectively like a life coach would come to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So if you think, if you are, out there listening to this and you think, oh, what is life coach is all about? I want to learn more. First of all, yes, learn more what life coach is. And we will probably discuss more in the coming chapters what life coach is, or what other things life coach brings. But accountability is one big piece when it comes to life coaching.
And I would urge, anyone listening to this to think about, when was a time they want to do something where they had someone that was an accountability partner for them to help them get there. Think of those times, and then also think of the ideas or things you wanted to do, which is going to be on your own, that you haven't done as well. And then you can make your own choice as to whether having an accountability partner would actually help you do those things.
I really like this topic, James. I think you should be the responsible of surprising topics, because it was really good. It was really good, but because I didn't know what you're going to bring to the table. But that was a really lovely one. Thank you for that.
Went better than I expected for sure. So I'm glad.
Really? What did you
Well,
expect then?
well, you never know, right? Because you have something in your head and you're like, okay, this sounds interesting. This makes sense to me. I reckon we can have a good discussion there. But because you're, with someone else on the call, you don't know how they're going to react to what you say, whether they think the same thing. And I think that was really good to see at the beginning, you clarifying your understanding of what I was bringing to the table. And then once we got there, we had a good conversation. So that was great to see. But I guess it could always happen that we just take the wrong view of something, or just doesn't trigger that part in the brain to have a conversation. So I'm glad it did.
And that's another lesson, what you're saying here. It's another lesson that I'm taking. And I'm gonna ask you what two things you are taking. But before that, I will tell you what the two things I'm taking from here. So what you're saying here is one of the things I'm taking is clarification is really, really important when it comes to communication. So when someone is saying to you something, don't assume you understand, clarifying you understand. Make sure just to avoid inconvenience. And this is really, really good tool to do when you are having a chat, whether it's a chat in your workplace or with your family or friends. If someone is saying to you and you're not quite sure what they mean, just clarifying it will
Yeah.
help your communication skills dramatically, promise you. And the second thing is, yes, the external factor of keep us motivated in what we are doing is more important than I initially thought. And you kind of raised a topic with me that I'm gonna reflect after this recording more and
Great.
think, okay, what are the things that I am doing that I'm really dependent on external factors? And is it a must or is it something I can do internally to resolve it? That's the two things I'm taking. What are the two things you're taking, James, from this?
Yeah, I'm gonna steal your clarification one, because I think that's really, really important. And yeah, if this worked the other way and you brought a topic, I'm going to make sure that I fully understand before waffling on about something. And then the second thing it's made me think about is, do I have the right external accountability influence in for me for what I want to achieve? So it's something to reflect on. That could be friends, that could be mentors, it could be coaches, any community, anything. Do you have the right balance, the right support of accountability there that's going to help you get to where you want? And maybe you're yourself an external accountability partner for someone else. So it's the other way to look at it.
Amazing. And thank you all for listening. If you want to get in touch, you can write us to our emails. We have an email, James. We didn't mention it like last time. We have the growingpair@gmail.com. It's an email that I've created ages ago. So it's there out there if you want to reach out. But if they want to reach out directly to you, James, how do they find you?
It's great that we got an email. I'll probably get thousands of emails now, Isaac.
Well, it's the external we're talking about.
But yeah, mine is James at the-v-edgecoaching.co.uk.
.co.uk, and myself is Matara Life Coaching at gmail.com. All the details will be in the description of this podcast, and we are on YouTube as well, so check us out. James, it was a pleasure as always, and we shall see you and hear from you very, very soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.